Hey, what's up, everyone? It's me again, here to bore you to death with a new video. And this time, it's going to be a quick video because there's not a lot to talk about because it's a band that wasn't around that long, at least in terms of releases. Um, and it's a band that I think was so underrated, but they came out at the wrong time, and they didn't really, they were hard to fit in the category, so it was timing category and just I don't know. It wasn't talent, that's for sure. And the band I'm referring to, Wrathchild America. So, a bit of history of this band. It was formed by Shannon Larkin and maybe Terry Carter, I believe, in high school or grade school. It was back in the late 70s when they were really young and like little, like 13, 14 years old. This is Shannon Larkin's first band. I think they were called Atlantis or something. If I remember right. And then they changed it to Wrathchild, just Wrathchild. And they were touring for years, I think, with it. And then they were getting ready to release this album, Climbing the Walls. And Wrathchild, the glam British band, was going to sue them if they kept going with the name. Somehow they found out about it. So they added America to it. And forming out the other two members was Brad Divins, who played with Kix, my other favorite Maryland band. I did a ranking video. I'll put that at the end here. It's like my first or second video I did. And Jay Abeen on guitars. So you have Brad Divins on vocals and bass, Jay Abeen on guitars, Terry Carter on guitars, and the amazing Shannon Larkin on drums. And so that album got delayed. Then it finally dropped, and I think it was 87, 89. Wow, it was 89, that's right. 89. So this was, to describe their sound was technical thrash combined with, this album especially was like a little bit more progressive, even almost power metal-ish, but it was definitely still thrashy. And it wasn't like really hardcore like Slayer, but it wasn't hard rock like the hair metal, so it was a lot harder. So it was hard to place them, kind of like Metal Church, but also more technical. So it's kind of, that's why they kind of like, I think timing was their main issue. And Climbing the Walls, this barely hit the top 200. I think it was like 190. Climbing the Walls was played on Headbangers Ball, I believe. A lot of people prefer this album of the two because they only had two, and I'll get to the other ones in a second after their second album. I like the title track. Hell's Gates is good. London After Midnight. And their cover of Time by Pink Floyd. Now, I'm not a Pink Floyd fan. I don't know. I'm not stoned enough to like them. They're just not my thing. But this is a great cover. It's a great, solid debut album. It's not my favorite. It might be most people's favorite of the two. And it got some little bit of airplay on Headbangers Ball and MTV. Not much. And next up came my favorite of the two. The most underrated album. One of my most underrated albums ever. 3D. This one was also played on Headbangers Ball. They released two singles or videos, Spy and Surrounded by Idiots, How I Feel Where I Live. Jokers to the left of me, jokers to the right, or how did that go? Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. I am surrounded by idiots. Pretty much. And it also could mean the time we live in, especially in America. A bunch of Karens and idiots out there that don't like good music and are offended by everything. My favorite is the title track, 3D Man, 3D Man, 3D Man. Gentleman Death, Forever Alone, which will be me. Surrounded by Idiots, Desert Grins, and the weird song that they put on at the end as a bonus track was I Ain't Drunk, I'm Just Drinking. It's a blues song. It's the Albert Collins, the guy from Adventures in Babysitting. Nobody leaves this place without singing the blues. It's his song. But yeah, it's definitely more, it's not, this is more technical, just straight thrashy album. And the also more technical time signatures, and Shannon Larkin's drumming is just ridiculous. Has longer songs, a lot of like Drain Time, Surrounded by Idiots. There's another one. Two of them are 6 minutes. Oh, Desert Grin, 6.5. So it's a lot longer album. Has more tracks too, and it came out in 91. right when grunge was hitting, fucking shitty ass grunge. The 90s killed fucking music, in my opinion. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. There's a lot of great albums in the 90s that wasn't grunge and pop music that of the 90s sound, but they never got a shot because all the fucking record companies and the public ignored them. But this didn't even hit the top 200, I don't think. But I know Surrounded by Idiots was played on MTV. And it's my favorite of the two, like I said. And then they got dropped by Atlantic, I think. Yeah, Atlantic. And they formed a new band to make it more 90s. Two of the band members cut their hair. Shannon Larkin hasn't had long hair since then. And they replaced the name. I have one of the albums. The first one, Souls at Zero. I don't like these records. I got this for like $2 in Denmark. It was in like the cheap bin, so I got it, and I listened to it recently again. Never was a single. It's Grey World is probably my favorite. I think that was released as a single also. I can barely remember these fucking songs because they were like 90s. They still had a thrashy sound to their drumming, but it was more I don't know, 90s-ish and not power metal. What's the fucking Pantera sound? Groove metal, alternative metal. Gone was like the hard rock, pure thrash, and it was just all 90s. I don't know. I can listen to it. The title track, Souls at Zero, wasn't bad. Welcome to the 90s, unfortunately. And they did another album, which I don't have. It's called Taste of the Perverse. And then they just broke up, and Brad went into like sound production, I think. And of course, Shannon, the most famous member of the band, went to Ugly Kid Joe, and they made that amazing album, Menace to Sobriety, which failed miserably. I think it hit the top 200 barely. And then he was going to become a hairdresser of all things, because that's what his mother was. And then Solly Erna called him, and the rest is history. He's still with Godsmack today. And the other two guitar players, I'm not sure what the hell they are doing. Bean, I don't know. And I read where Terry Carter is in country music now. Or shit ever. He has a name for it, though. It doesn't sound like a country name. Yeah, that's the story of Wrathchild America. Then they changed their name to Souls at Zero. In 2017, Brad Divins was getting shit together on Facebook or whatever, and they were trying to do a tour, or maybe not a tour or a new material, just like a couple shows under the Wrathchild America name. And it fell apart because his commitment to Godsmack. I liked when Shannon was also an Ugly Kid Joe on Uglier Than They Used to Be, and even Motel California. He did great drumming on that, and he actually showed up on their last tour when they just finished up a couple weeks ago. He did the last date or so, and he still played on the new album 3 songs. So I think he's still involved with Ugly Kid Joe somewhat, and not a full member now, but if Godsmack said this was their last album, I'm hoping so, because I can't stand them. I'm hoping that maybe they can do that now after they finish up their tour and they don't record anymore. Maybe they'll take a break for a couple years and they'll do new album. That'd be fucking amazing if Wrathchild America made a new album. And Brad Divins has not ruled it out, and neither of the rest of the members. So we'll see. So that's the brief history of Wrathchild America. Let me know what you think of the band. Do you even know this band? Because they weren't very famous in terms of household names. Nobody really knew them. They were out of Baltimore, just like Kix, Maryland area, East Coast. So, yeah, just want to make a quick video for you guys, and there you have it. I'll put a video here. Please subscribe if you want to hear me ramble on. And as always, keep on rocking. Peace.